Bang! Neevesknives. I'm Jared, and we got a live tonight. How's everybody doing tonight? Pull it up over here. 5 people in here already. Nice. Glad to have everybody here. I'm setting up a little late. That's why I wasn't able to turn it on 15 minutes early like normal, but is what it is. I got a few things on the list tonight. Not as many as I would have liked, but I think some of the topics might last a little bit longer. I do want to do a little budget bash, talking about budget knives, like great budget knives that are not only killing it, but are a great offer. I almost contacted Seth from Civivi Knives. That he's like the whatever for Civivi Knives. He's the one you see on Blade HQ and blah 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 blah. He's their face. I think he's in Arizona, but I almost asked him to come on a live, not tonight, but just period. See if he would want to do something like that, and I could take some of the knives I have, and he's got examples of them, and I would record it. I don't know about live, but I could record it and then edit it and stuff like that, and me and him could basically sit down and have a chat talking about knives. Oh, Breeze, you're in Milwaukee. Now you're back home. That's awesome. Feels good to be back home sometimes. In Milwaukee, that's not too far from you, but far enough, right? But yeah, budget knives, man, budget knives. So, today's budget knives are like the knives 10 years ago. They're premium knives. Maybe a little bit, give or take, 10-15 years. Their premium knives are today's budget knives. And, I gripe about things sometimes or complain about this or that, but only because of what we're capable of getting and what some of these other companies are doing. And it's difficult. It's difficult to be able to buy something and be able to get something else for less money. It's hard to justify the other price. It's hard to justify a knife that's build quality isn't as good as another knife that's cheaper, or the materials or whatever when you go over here. And I'm not talking about like the differences between the USA and China. I'm saying like we can say they're all overseas. I'm just saying the difference between some companies that they might be able to give you, a decent price, but then the materials are crap, or the fit and finish, or whatever. Or when you are spending that money, you're spending the money, but then even though it's a good knife, it's a good tool, and we are talking about knives, as long as it's a good tool, but then the fit and finish doesn't stand up to something that's cheaper. Even not even close, or they just don't do little details that say another company will do for half the price. Got my Neutron. Hope everyone's having a super Saturday. What's up, Monster? Got my Neutron 2 today. It's sick as fuck. That's awesome. Yeah, those TRM knives are really good. I do like those TRMs. Hey, Jared, Medford versus Strider, materials, QC, usability. Well, I'll say this. I like the way Striders look. I love Striders. I think Striders are awesome. What I don't like are certain things. So I don't like that their lock stick is like really bad. I don't like that. They're custom knives. Now you're talking about a whole nother level, but you're kind of in the price range of some Medford. So in that case, if it's a custom Strider, I'll say Strider. But in that case, the titanium's heat treated. It's nothing like the production knives. It's a whole nother level of a knife. But otherwise, Medfords, because Medfords, you get that the things that you're not getting with Strider, like the lock stick and certain fit and finish issues. I love the way Striders look. I love the way they cut. Certain ones, depends, but some of them. But it just depends on which one versus which one, I guess. But if you're talking about like the actual custom Striders versus Medfords, I do like those custom striders or the Marfion custom striders. Hit that like button, don't forget, because I can't hear anything. Doesn't give you an excuse. Bang. I keep hitting my mic with my hat. I'm gonna have to take this thing off. But the knives like say Tucson, and I'm gonna go down a bunch of lists of knives, but let's just say like Tucson, right? Some of the things you're getting on a Tucson for when it's another knife, even from the same country, you're gonna wind up paying 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 times the price. And the fit and finish. Now, I'm not saying every Tucson, because there are, like I say all the time, there's levels, right? There's certain Tucsons that are of the same quality as a Kubi or something else. But there are certain Tucsons that are above the rest. I always say Mazwan Mokhtar's designs, they always knock it out of the park. I haven't tried them all, but the ones I have tried are like that. And then a bunch of other designers too. Like some of Night Morning's designs are like that. Some of Tepe's, some of Jelly Jerry's. It just depends on which ones. But there's certain models that just it's hard to look at that, and it starts making you look at your other knives, certain knives, that it's like, man, I paid $300 for this. This thing is so much better. And literally the fit, the finish, the way it comes apart and goes back together, everything slaps right back to perfect, nice and centered. The action's great. And then it has like the little details, like the washer for the bearings, the plastic caged ceramic bearings, the track for the bearings to roll on, the detent ramps, so many things. And I've never had, out of all the Tucsons I've ever tried or had, I've never once, not once, maybe you guys have, I haven't, not once have I ever felt a lock slip, lock play, lock rock, or anything like that. Not one time. What's up, Talica? Talica just got recently a Gillian custom, which is awesome. I had one of his knives early in the channel, like a long time ago. Gillian sent me one. My track is stonewashed. Yeah, I know. So I didn't try that knife with it stonewashed. The one I tried had a satin finish, but like I said, I would take and unlock it and then put pressure on the detent ball, literally directly on the detent ball, and just open and close with a lot of pressure. And I would do that for like 5-10 minutes and just sit there and dink dink like that, so that you break in the track. Then after that, start opening and closing it, and just literally open and close it 10,000 times or whatever it takes. Sorry about my camera, guys. Man, this thing drives me nuts. Let me take off my hat. Why is this thing? That's why I don't like to put things up to the camera, because then it takes forever to focus back on my face. I might just invest in a new camera. This one was good when I got it because I needed it, but damn it, this thing drives me nuts. There we go. All right. But then we talk about like Kaisers. What's up, Q Ball? Kaisers. Sorry, I was gonna say Civivis. I don't know. Man, my fucking camera. Damn it, focus. Civivi knives, they kill it in, like, in my opinion, like the user knives, the knives that are just great for use, where the action's going to be, let me just scoot forward. The action's going to be really good. The fit and finish is really good. The materials are good. They're not like Tucson's, but they're still good. But their main thing, I think, is their geometry, their cutting performance, their sharpenability, their heat treats. Some of the most important things, and that's why I say the users. They kill it with their heat treats. They kill it with their geometries. Two most important things for a user knife. The actions are really good. They carry really good. And there's not many companies. I mean, Kaiser's killing it in 2021, but when we look at the long-term thing, they've been on top. There's times where certain models come out and they might be as good, but if you look at the entire catalog versus catalog, Kaiser wins. Or sorry, Civivi wins. It's hard to find knives that can stand up next to Civivis, even high-end knives, because of the little details, and they usually make sense. And I say that all the time about knives making sense. Does your ergos match your geometry? It's that simple. Ergos matching your geometry. A knife that's uncomfortable in the hand should not be thick. Should not be 30 thousandths behind the edge. Shouldn't be a short grind. That's if it's going to be comfortable in the hand, then possibly have a hard use grind. But you get some of these knives. Oh man, I put it away. Maybe I'll grab it. But like the Civivi Picaro, that thing, I got it sitting right over here. I should just grab it. But that thing is super slicey, but it's a big knife. And even though it's a big knife, which usually big knives are hard use knives, it's not. It's made for slicing. And it is so good. And then another thing. We shit on D2 a lot, right? We shit on D2. We should be screaming about Civivi's D2. Civivi does a great job with their D2. Civivi's D2, in my opinion, outperforms every other company for the price. And D2, if you're getting it done right, is a phenomenal steel. It really is. I know some people are sick of it. They're sick of seeing it. The reason why you're sick of seeing it is because every company is using it for all different prices, from $20 to $80 or $100. Yeah, even over $100. But they're not getting heat treats right. So we're so used to seeing them, and then when they test, when the steel testers test them, they never perform. They never perform good. They're all over the board. There is like a kind of an average for Chinese D2 versus USA D2, but Civivi though is leading the pack. Civivi's doing a killer job with it. Even sharpening it, I like sharpening Civivi's D2. Way better than other companies. Way better. When I put their D2 on the stone, it feels good. I can tell it's heat treated right. Now, I'm not saying every single Civivi's D2 is going to be perfect, but I'm just saying compared to other companies, man, they're doing a great job. Now they're starting to step away from it, and they're still using it on the knives that it has come in and that they still make, and then their Sen cut line. But they're starting to step away, starting to use Nitro V and 14C28N. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I don't mind their D2 though. But when we're screaming, get rid of D2, get rid of D2, they're gonna listen. That's just the way they are. Which I think the overwhelming majority of people would rather have a different steel than D2 if it's the D2 that everybody's getting from other companies. But when we're talking about Civivi's D2, it's hard to argue that, because in an edge retention test, that D2 could possibly beat majority of the steel that we would argue to bring in. Yeah, it's not going to be as corrosion resistant, but Gillian, where'd it go? Every time I do that, Gillian loves the reverse flick trick without the stud by gripping the blade and popping it out. You mean like this? Is that what you're talking about? Without the stud, by gripping the blade and popping it out. I showed him he can't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. Gillian loves the reverse flick trick. You're talking about, oh, like where you just grip the blade like this? Is that what you're talking about? Like this, but without a hole? Or are you talking about off of a thumb stud? Yeah, okay. This one's cool because it's got a fuller on it, but another Civivi. This thing is pretty badass. The Keen Natter, So you have the thumb stud action, which is why the Picaro's cool. Let me just grab it. It's right here. Thought it was right here. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. So the Picaro, we got the thumb stud action and the flicker. The one negative, it's not even a negative really, because a lot of people don't like bearings. A lot of people want washers, but that's what this has. It has phosphor bronze washer, so it's not drop shutty, but it's still very smooth. I mean, especially for the slow roll. It's like kind of like a Sabenza, but a liner lock, you know. But yeah, I really like it. And lefties, this would be really good for, because it's a liner lock, but it's big though too. That's another thing. This is a big knife. Like here. Here's the keen. You can see the difference there. This is a large knife, but it's not smooth like bearing. So in that case, you'd want to get like the shredder or that other knife. I forget the name of it. Hey, Jared, what do you think of QSP Penguin in titanium in 154 cm? I like it. I think it looks cool. I think it looks good. I think it's possibly a little, isn't it thinner? I think it's thinner than the original, but it has thick titanium, and I like that. So I almost got one. I think that's pretty awesome. I want ceramic bearings, otherwise washers. I don't know if Teflon or phosphor bronze. Yeah, I like ceramic bearings. I don't mind washers. Sometimes there's certain knives, like even if you look at something like this, right? This is on washers. I mean, but it just takes time to break in. That's it. This is solid as can be. But it does take time to break in. But like a knife like this, because it's a liner lock, right? Because it's a liner lock, the pressure from the detent or from the lock bar makes it not that smooth when it's on phosphor bronze. But it's still smooth enough to me. Hell, I love this knife. I don't have to have every knife be false shut action. I don't need that. It's nice. I like having that. Oh, check this out. My AC crapped out yesterday right in the middle of a 4-day heat wave. Got to step away and find a fan to set up since I am sweating bullets. Yeah, dude. Cool yourself off, man. That sucks. I know I've been stuck in heat a lot of times. I know how it feels. American Blade Works Model 1 version 2 or version 6. Look how smooth this thing is getting. It is so much smoother than the way it was. And like if I want to, like just a little slap, this thing will just fall shut if I give it any like real effort. But like if I do like real effort, it'll just drop. The action's really good. I'm loving this thing now. So much better than the way it was. It's locking up good. It's nice and centered. I had to work on it. Now, I know a lot of people would argue, if you have to work on your knife to make it good, is it really worth it? I don't know, man. I don't mind working on my knives. But yeah, I agree. You usually, when you pay for your knife, you want it to come good, not have to be worked on for 3 days to make it work good. I'm getting to send my Gillians for you to fix my detent track and edge. All right, send it on then. Yeah, I'll take care of it. Or would it ruin? Hold on, wait. Fuck the like button there. I said. It's like fuck that like button. Thoughts on serrated AD. Thoughts on serrated AD 20.5. Could you remove serrations? You can always remove serrations. It's just it's going to be super thick behind the edge by the time you do. However tall the serrations are, that's going to be the start of your apex of your edge. So you got to think, however tall those serrations are, that's literally going to be the height of the serrations, the very top of them, That's going to be the edge. So now you have to make an edge bevel above that. So whatever thickness that is, that's how thick your knife's going to be behind the edge. So yeah, it's very possible. It's always possible. It's just, that's the thing. But no, if you asked if it would ruin the heat treat, no, it'd probably help it if you were the one that asked that. Oh, let me go down. All right. I don't know how many knives you tested in, let's say, 5 years. Well, I haven't been reviewing for 5 years, but I mean, I've been carrying knives since I was 5 years old. But I've had the channel going on well, see, when we first started the channel, we didn't take it serious. I just started it just to kind of goof around. I didn't really start for like 6 months after we had the channel. That's when I started taking it serious. So I just dropped the damn knife. So if you think like a year and a half, 2 years, we've been taking the channel serious. I don't know how many knives I've tested. Definitely hundreds though at this point, for sure. I mean, I have over 100 knives. At one point, I had like 150 knives. I don't know how many knives I own. I haven't counted, but you figure all in all with all the budget knives and, you know, the crap knives versus the good knives, like I have probably about 100 or so knives. I think it can be done removing the serrations, but you got to keep the blade cool the whole time. It's easy to remove the serrations. I would just do it on a belt. It wouldn't ever get hot. I would never heat up the blade. The blade you'd be able to touch the entire time without heating it up. The belt just goes slow. You just get a really coarse belt. So it's a very aggressive belt that's not going fast. And yeah, just knock them down. It go like I have like a 60 grit belt. Fucking take those things off real quick. And if it did start getting hot, yeah, just keep it cool. You know, a little water. What Civivi is that? Which one? This one? Or are we talking about this thing? This is a Kubi right here. This is the Keen Natter. And then this was the Picaro. And I think that was all that I flipped. I have other knives around me, but I think that's all I flipped. Yeah, I can tune it up for sure. Oh, that's not to me. It's not to me. My mom's in here. Hey, Mom. Caress that like button. Girls don't like it when you hit it. I have a 60 grit belt on my Porter cable belt sander. There you go. That'll work. It'll work. Just in that case, you want to, make sure it stays nice and cool. If it's just a belt sander and it just vibrates back and forth, I don't think it'd get hot, but you just want to check it. I got all 4 episodes of the podcast put up on Apple Podcasts. That's my first time ever being on Apple Podcast. Was last night on Mike Emler's channel. We did a live. We actually did like 4 hours last night. Good times. Jared, have you seen the new Sun Cut episode? No, I haven't. The Sun Cut episode? Nope, I have not, but I will definitely request it. I'll talk to Seth and see if I can get him to send it to me. I don't know if it'll be possible or not. I haven't seen it. Those Sun Cut knives are nice, though. They're really nice. You guys did a good list. Thank you, Oregon. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was fun. It's always a fun time. Me and Mike always have a good time. I gotta do something about this camera, though, man. This camera and me are not working out anymore. We're gonna have to break up. Let me just try something really quick. I'm gonna cover the camera for 1 second and wipe it off with a clean knife wipe. That sometimes helps. Oh yeah, that helped a lot. But it'll go right back to blurry in 2 seconds. Asking because the wee black void opus seems interesting. I finally spent my money from Knife Works, and I almost waited it out still because there is a Wee knife that I do like, and I do want to talk to you guys about recurves here in a second. But I wound up getting the Esprit. I was trying to I was choosing, like I was basically flipping a coin because I had some money sitting at Knife Works, so it's just been sitting there. So I was gonna choose between that and what's that other Wee knife? The one that's it's a limited edition. You can reverse flick it and flip it, and it's got a harpoon blade shape, like a drop point harpoon. What's the name of that knife? You guys know the name of it. Come on. What's the name of it? Where's Q1 Fiend when you need him? Where's he at? Logical. The Wee knife. Anyways, point is I was trying to pick between that one and the Esprit, and I wound up choosing the Esprit because it's not a limited edition, and I like the other one better. I should have just pulled it up so you guys could see it. I'm actually we're gonna check out Knife Gripes here in a little bit. Not the kite fin, the one that it's the you can reverse flick it, and it's got a flipper, and it's got a harpoon, and it's a limited edition. I don't think the kite fin's not limited edition. I don't think. Damn it, piss me off. The Fornix, yes, thank you, Jason Brown. The Fornix. So I was trying to choose between the Esprit and the Fornix. I don't know why. I should just pull up pictures for you guys so you guys can just see what I'm talking about. But I wound up choosing the Esprit because the Fornix is a limited edition. They only had the black ones left. I don't know if they're going to make any more. And I felt like that it was better for the channel to get the Esprit. But I like the Fornix better in a way, the way it looks. I don't know. I think they both look great. But I like to reverse flick more than thumb stud, at least at the moment. That changes, you know. But yes, we knife Fornix. But I wound up getting the Esprit, the all titanium, and now we're going to talk about its finish because it has a orange peel finish. Can you guys see that finish? So, orange peel finish. What do you guys think about orange peel? So, I think some people would say, that worked out good. Some people would say it's a little slick. That's just kind of something I've heard from people. Yeah, last night was a blast, Mike. I think that one being a thumb stud knife, it might not be bad. And I guess it does have a top flipper too, but I don't know, just the way it looks like it'll be fine. It's extra. You think it's extra? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think it looks cool because I like the hammered look. It kind of looks like it's hammered. I like that. I do like that. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't hate it. I don't hate orange peel, but I'm not in love with it. It's not something like I see and I'm like, ooh, I want that. I do like the raw look to it. Like it looks like it's beat up, kind of like it's just like a raw piece of metal. I like that, but it's not grippy at all. It is slick. Not slick, but it's not. There's like, I don't know. It is kind of slippery though. Not bad though. Orange peel may be a little slick, but if you do a heavy enough orange peel, what you've done is force the vanadium in the aluminum for V titanium to forge ridges on the surface, and it's harder to scratch. I did not know that. Well, I was actually about to go there, Mike. Was that the one benefit about it is that, man, you can beat it up. You can beat it up and nothing will happen. I didn't know that was the reason. I thought it was just because it's already beat up. So if I bang it on something, it doesn't matter because it can't scratch. So I do like that. I like the thought of that. I can just throw it on the table and not even think about it. It can clack against another knife and not even, it won't hurt it because you literally won't see the scratch. Like right now, this is 3V and you can't even see that at all. You can't tell I did that because it's orange peel. Like I can't see at all that I did that. Maybe a little bit. No, you can't. So that's a good thing. If you're hard on your knife, if you're tough on your knife, how do you do, fellow knife lovers? I don't know what that means. How do I do them? I don't do them. Cringe. Gonna be sending my Thai AD20 for the Bark River finish to Knife Modders. Shout out to Knife Modders. Yeah, that's sweet. That's badass. I don't have a titanium one, but I can imagine. Yeah, that bark finish looks awesome. It does. What it do, Yuri? 6AL4V. Oh, wait. AL4V has aluminum and vanadium in it. The Scotch Brite wheel forms basically little piles of the vanadium. Nice. But yeah, that Fornix is really nice, and I did want it. The fact that they're only, I think, what are they making? 250 of each? Or was it 400 of each? However many they're making of each, they're not making it unlimited. So my problem with it is that it's not good for the channel. Okay. I don't know if this is a good thing they're doing, but I noticed that they're doing a lot of this. There is one particular knife, which we're going to talk about in a second. This recurve knife that they're coming out with. Oh, okay. I see, Mike. How do you do? I see it. I didn't get it. Sorry. How do you do, sir? But the excuse me. The fact that they're making these small runs of these knives, I'm sure it's good for business because they won't ever have knives sitting on the shelf. I think that's good. I think that's a good thing for them, but it's not a good thing like for me. And I mean that as a knife reviewer. Now, when it first comes out, yes, because people will watch the videos to see if they want to make a purchase. A month later, 2 months later, they're not because it's sold out. It's gone. The only people that'll get it is the people that maybe are going to buy it on the secondary market. But it's not like every single day 200 people are buying one on the secondary market. There'll be one a month or something. So it's just not great for the channel. So that's why I want to pick in the other one. Because sometimes, and that does suck too. Like that's one part about having a channel is you can buy things that you want and like, and that's awesome. But there are times where you have to sacrifice the thing that you want for what's better for the channel. Because don't get me wrong, like I want to get what I want and test what I want so that I can show you guys what I like and I can give you a good experience with it. But I do have to think about the channel too and what's good for it. Are you going to live in the woods with your knife and rock? Oh, that's to Mike. That's to you, Mike. I'm out going to ignore YouTuber for the rest of the weekend. I'm out. I'm going to ignore YouTube for the rest of the weekend. All right, Mike. He's going off the grid, guys. Going off the grid. I was just looking at KnifeWorks, and they have a new Ritter Hogue. Yeah, they have a KnifeWorks exclusive Ritter Hogue Ritter. That's exactly what it'll be. I didn't get the Luft Avant. I wanted to. I did want to, and I wanted to because I wanted to support bearded gear. I wanted to. It's $300 though, man. I don't have an extra $300 to put on that knife at the moment. I just did the Knife Works knife. That was $220, but I had that knife in the bank, meaning like with them, they had the money because I bought a knife a few months ago and didn't work out. I returned it. So that money's been sitting there for a while. And they just haven't had anything I've wanted. So I didn't want to buy something just because. So I let it sit. And this one knife that we has isn't coming out for a while. And let's talk about that. I don't know the name of it. I'm gonna find it right now, really quick, because I do want to show it to you guys. I want to hear you guys' opinion on it because it has a recurve. But man, I don't know why. When I look at it, that thing looks badass to me. I think it looks cool. I'm gonna hear your guys' opinion on it. We're gonna look at it here in 1 second. I should be able to pull it up. Let me go like this. Let me get rid of. I have something pulled up in the background, but I'm just gonna get rid of this and I'm gonna pull up YouTube really quick. New tab. YouTube. Let me see. Where is the live? Here we go. I don't use this laptop for anything but this, so I'm not good on this laptop. I was watching the video a little bit. Where the hell is it? Oh, maybe. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can just pull up the names. I can go over here. I guess I'm not good with this damn laptop. Where? Oh, here it is. Integrity Knives, I think it was on. Oh, you know what? I can go like this. Sorry, guys. Just give me 1 second. I'm just looking for this. I know I look crazy on the camera, but just give me 1 second. Why is it not giving me more? All right. Screw it. I'm just going to pull it up. Oh, wait. I can go like this. And I'll save it right on the time over here. I thought I've seen it on this video. I personally think it looks great. I think this is it right here. Where is it? Sorry, I'll just pull it up right now because it should be on my recent now. I know this is taking way longer than I thought it was gonna. That's why normally I have this ready. And now it's not doing it. I don't know what's going on, man. It's not giving me my recent history now. Alright, fuck it. What is this called? Integrity Knives. I know you guys are probably all leaving because I'm sitting here messing around. I hate doing this. Here it is. Okay, now let me pause this because it's going to take me a second to... Oh, you know what? I wonder if it was on this one, actually. No. Can you guys hear that? Is that loud in your ears? I don't know. I doubt you guys can hear that. Okay, I'll just pause this really quick. StreamYard, all right. Can you guys hear that? Because it's not on yet, and I don't want you guys to hear it. I'm going to share this with you guys now. Share screen. All right. Hey, quiet. Sorry. All right. So, let me. The hell. Now it looks like. This is really on this. Piss me off. All right. Let me find where it's at so I can just show you guys. I'm looking for a specific knife because I want to show it to you guys because I really like this knife. I'm just curious what you guys think about it. Might be at the very beginning. 80 people are in here watching me fumble the ball. I can't find it now. It's like on his. I know it's in this video. That's why I'm trying to go nice and slow so I can see it pop up. At least I thought it was in this video. Maybe it was on the Blade. I don't think it was on the Blade HQ one. Maybe it was. At the very end, maybe. This might be a waste of time because I can't seem to find it. Maybe if I just do new Civivi knives 2021. Or new Wii knives, I mean. Wii knives 2021. I think it came in a blue handle and a red handle. No, it's not going to be on that. It's going to be on this one probably. Fast forward really quick. Man, I seen it in a video just like 2 hours ago, and now I can't find it. It's about to make me mad that I can't find it because I wasted all this damn time looking for it. I might just have to stop. Anyways, it was a recurve knife like this with a tanto, but it had like kind of like a bolster handle, um, and it looks really really cool, and it makes me so upset that I can't find it. Found it! Holy cow! I just found it. I did just find it. Hang on. All this damn time. All this damn time. Damn time. I got to history. Here we go. Yes, got it. Okay. So I think they have it in their hands right now. I'm going to share this with you guys. Okay, so how do I make this bigger so you guys go like this? Yep, there we go. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to play it. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. Can you guys hear that? Tell me right now if you guys can hear it. If you guys can't hear it, I'll turn it down. He has the knife in his hand right now. I don't have it played, but I just... Can you guys hear that? No. Okay, so I need to go like... Man. It doesn't matter. You guys don't need to hear it. I'm just going to show you. Just look at it, okay? It's in his hand right now. Looks like you can reverse flick it. I'll rewind it to get a close up here in a second. But there it is. What happened? There it goes. Oh, I hate myself. You can see they got a red and a blue one. I don't know about these new clips they're using, but it has a fuller for reverse flicking. You can see. You can see how it nestles right down into that back spacer, which I think looks cool. So it's got a flipper and a flicker. I think that looks cool. The blue one especially. Some people might like the red one. Okay, let me go back really quick because I don't care about that one right now. That looks kind of cool too, though. Let me go to the beginning of this. where it first started with that knife. Look at that. That looks sexy. Okay, so they have the drop point version you see on the right there, and then the Tonto with the recurve. I think they both look good. I didn't realize till just now the other one doesn't have a recurve. But even the recurve Tonto one looks good. Okay, so speaking about the Kubi thing, it is kind of like this Kubi right here. Not saying it's, I mean, it's obviously way higher tolerances and everything else, but it's kind of like that, the blade, just the blade. But if you look at their Tonto, though, this Tonto is far, far better. Not the Kubi, the Wii knife. If you look at it really close, it's more straight up and down, I guess. It's more straight up and down than this one. This one's more elongated, while theirs is more just straight up, which I think is cool. The drop point version looks badass too. I really like that thing. And so I was thinking about trying to wait out for that, but I don't know when that thing's coming out. So I just figured, man, I might as well get something else. What Kubi do you have wish listed? Logical. It kind of looks like this too, in a way, if the Tonto was more straight up. The Keen Natter, which is their knife too. I like the Kubi carve crossed with a Keen Natter. That's basically what I was just. That's exactly what I was just holding up. That's exactly what it's like. Because both of these have basically the same blade shape. They're both recurved Japanese Tontos, or recurved Tontos, you could say, with a dual grind. The Kubi has a dual grind, but it has two hollows, which is cool. The front end isn't a flat grind, it's a hollow. The Natter has a flat grind at the tip. So it's a little bit more robust in the tip without being robust, because it's not robust. It's still going to be plenty slicey. Me and Mike were talking about this yesterday, how a lot of knives with dual grinds, they go a little crazy on the beefier part. Like it's one thing if you're a little thicker, but it's another thing when you're 3 times as thick. Like if you have 15 thousandths behind the edge in the hollow grind, and then you go 40 thousandths thick right here, which is what he was holding in his hand when he measured it, that's way too much. Way too much. In this example, though, we're talking like 15 thousandths and 18 thousandths. So it's a little beefier, but what makes it beefy is that it's a flat grind. The hollow ground part is a hollow, so it's more slicey. These Veneve stones are freaking awesome. Yes, they are. I love the Veneve stones. I'm glad you're getting to enjoy them. Oh no, this is the darkness. This is sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I was mistaken this one for that. I have the carve, or sorry, yeah, this is the darkness. I have the carve, the raven, and then this one. The carve is right, bang, right here. So the Kubi carve, yeah, it does have a little, exactly. It's literally these two knives together. If you put this recurve on this, that's basically what they have there with the blade shape, because it has the fuller and everything. So, which this to me, this is a little bit better build quality. Quite a bit better build quality, in my opinion. But this looks cooler. I think this just looks badass. The blade shape, the grind. Now, I do like the grind on this. Just like this one, I really like the grind on this one, the dual hollow. Because then this tip right here is nice and acute. This one, I like this one better because it's an American Tonto. So this makes this really acute right here. And it's robust while not being too robust. Because you want to be able to use the front end. You don't want it to be too thick to where you can't use it, which is like what me and Mike were talking about yesterday on his Chavez. His Chavez was over 40 thousandths thick behind the edge. So imagine after a few sharpenings, which I don't know how many times he's sharpened, but since it's straight, you can really use it to wedge into things and distribute the pressure across the whole thing instead of just the tip of the belly if it's a Japanese. Another thing, you know one thing that sucks about this one though? This one, not your guys's. I talked to a bunch of people and everybody said they didn't have this issue. Mine has play. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's as tight as it could possibly be. So I couldn't pry with mine. I feel like it would break because the stress is bending the knife a little bit. But just for regular cutting and possibly the lightest duty prying you can imagine, then it's okay. Okay, I'll check it out later. I can't click on it right now, but everybody else can check it out. Man, I wish I knew which one it was. Nowadays, $65 and under is budget, under 35 super budget. Yeah, well, because you can get, we were talking about this earlier, that I can't believe 10 people just left. You can get for $65, you can get what you used to be able to get for $150. So yeah. And then what you can get for $100 these days, holy cow. You can get, yeah. Like steels that 10 years ago were so super steel that it was impossible to get, you can get now for like $100. So I reached out to 5 leather companies. I only had one contact me back so far, but I reached out to 5 leather companies and was trying to get them to send me wallets, which I don't advise anybody to reach out to companies, try to get them to send you things. But I wanted to do basically like a top 5 USA leather video where whether it's leather wallets, EDC carriers, stuff like that for your belt or for your back pocket. I really wanted to get like 5 of them, but I can't afford to buy 5 different wallets, 5 different or even 1 or 2 different like EDC organizers, and then a couple wallets, and then maybe a belt or something, and then do a video on it. So if I can't get any companies to send me anything, then I'll probably just slowly but surely buy them, and I just won't show them very often, and then I'll make a video on it. Because that's the only thing that sucks is if I buy them one by one and do a video on them all, then if I do a top 5 video, you guys already know what they all are. You guys don't need to watch it. So sometimes the surprise does make the video. Hey, Neves, what's your favorite fixed blade and why? I don't have a favorite fixed blade. I like BGM Knives as fixed blades. I like a lot of companies' fixed blades. I like Spartans. I like a lot of fixed blades. I just don't have very many. My favorite one in my collection, I only have like 3 fixed blades. So I got a Kukri on the way though from Seems Logical. That'll probably be my favorite fixed blade that I own after I get it. I got a Buck Mesa that I love right here. This thing's sweet. Green micarta, recurve, USA made, hollow ground blade. I like this thing a lot. It's so comfortable in the hand. 5-inch blade. I got this thing for $17 on clearance. I think they were like $50, $60 originally. So I'm trying to get Rake because I talked to Rake. They were asking me about like a top 5 video or whatever. And I told them if they wanted me to, they could send me, 5 of their knives and I would make a video of, the Rake knives because Rake hasn't made any new knives in a while. And I'd like to see them make new knives. I love their TS 128 and their 108. I think that's the two. I like those, but I haven't seen any. Now, I recently found out that they actually made a couple more titanium knives. So I'm trying to get them. I think they're sending some to me. It just takes a couple weeks because they're coming from overseas. I don't. Is that the 801? Sorry, yes, the 801. And I kicked the camera. The 801 and the 108. Yes, that's those are the 801 is my favorite. But I'm hoping to get one of their titanium knives and then maybe a couple other ones. But I asked them, which I don't know if they're going to be able to or not, to send me their fixed blade. They have a robust fixed blade that has 14C 28M blade steel. I don't have a fixed blade in 14C. Now, if we talk about Civivi again, I think Civivi shit the bed with their fixed blade they made. They made an Elementum fixed blade in D2. What are you thinking? You guys have 14C28N right now in your factory, and you chose D2. That makes 0 sense to me. In my opinion, that would have been a great time. They could have sold out in those fixed blades if they would have used that steel because it's stainless and it's tough. And it's a fixed blade. So both of those make sense. But yeah, the 801 is a fantastic knife. I really like the 801. I used to have one. I gave it away to one of my nephews. But as a stainless steel knife, it's really good. Is it in Nitro V? I think one's in D2 and one's in Nitro V. So they did 2 different fixed blades. So one's in Nitro V, which I guess is like the 14C. I guess I'm talking about the other fixed blade they made. One's the Elementum. I don't know the other name of that other fixed blade. They both look pretty similar. But I still think, though, even over Nitro V, they should have used a 14C. I don't care what steel they used. They should have used 14C. Rake makes some great fixed blades in 14C. That's the fixed blade I'm talking about. Is that fixed blade. It's really robust, too. They made a video hammering it into a tree and then standing on it. Civivi is rocking Nitro V. They should use it. I don't mind the Nitro V. The Nitro V is good, but they're using 14C28N on 3 or 4 knives. I personally, I like their Nitro V. I like the Nitro V. So that's great. But I think they should stick with that, the 14C and the Nitro V. They can use the D2 on their Send Cut line or something. I don't, whatever. But since they have both steels, I think that's a good way to go. With the Nitro V and 14C, really good steel choice for them. But their fixed blade, though, I would have liked to see a fixed blade in the 14C. It's really tough steel, man. Probably 3V. I think that's a fixed blade steel 3V. Yeah. I think the new Civivi is. I think it looks like a Terzola. I actually held and handled a custom Terzola fixed blade, and yeah, it's a very similar to their fixed blade. I agree. G-Ball has been heavy on the Spyderco lately. Is the Kaiser Harpoon fixed blade yours? Yes. Yes, it is. G-Ball says 3V and 1095. I like the 3V because it has edge retention like S30V, but it's super, super tough. I heard the people that haven't hit the like button are huge Gerber fans. Yeah. They are definitely Gerber fanboys. That's why they don't hit the like button. They don't like good steels, good fit and finish, good quality. They love blade play, lock rock, detent lash, things like that. That's what they look for. Can't wait to see some retail Magna Cut fixed blades. Me either. That'd be awesome. True story. Facts. Yes, the Jagger. The Jagger. Yes, the rake Jagger. That's it. I don't know if I'm going to get them to send it to me or not. Because when we were talking, I had just mentioned it. We had talked about the knives that they're going to send, and I don't think they were able to send all 5 because the couple knives I wanted to put in the video they didn't have in stock. So, but I did say, hey, I'd really like to check out that Jagger. I just don't know if they're going to be able to or not, but I'm hoping. They were trying to get me to like jump hoops. I almost gave up on them. I really did. I almost gave up on rake. Should I walk over to my liquor store? That's a 4-minute walk away from a beer. I'm down to 2 beers. You could always kill one more. Well, I mean, no. If you drink the 2, I guess it depends on how intoxicated you are. I'm not gonna give you any opinions on that. Not in a live. Because public intoxication and shit like that. I'd say if you're not intoxicated now, it'd be the best time to go. But otherwise, I would say finish them and then go. But is that a serious question, Talica? But yeah, so they asked me to. This is crazy to me. I like rake, by the way. I like rake. So, but they asked me to show them a video of me talking about rake knives, not in a rake video. And it was like confusing to me. Like, you want me to find a video that I did where the title of the video is not a rake, right? Because obviously if it's like the rake P801, well, then of course I'm talking about the rake knife, right? They wanted me to find a video where I'm talking about rake, but rake wasn't used in the title of the video. And I said, do you realize how many videos I've done? I said, I do 2 videos a day, 2 lives a week. I said, it would take me a month to find a video that I don't know what videos I've mentioned your knives in or talked about your knives in. Like, I know it's been a bunch of videos, but I couldn't tell you which one, right? Even if it's like a top 5 or something, right? I've done a whole bunch of those. I couldn't tell you which exact one I put a rake in, because or not top 5s, but like 5 greats, or something like that. And I've done so many videos, it's like, I'll never find that video, and I'm not going to. Like, I'm not even going to try doing that, first of all. Like, if you're asking me to show you a video where I talked about rake, it's going to say rake in the title. Otherwise, unless if I just did it. Like, if I just did it a month ago, yeah, I can show it to you right now. But you guys haven't made any new knives in a long time. So I don't have any of your new knives. And I guess they do have some new models, but no reviewers have been testing them or checking them out lately because they're not sending them out, and they're not nobody knows, right? And they have a couple new titanium knives, but I just thought that was weird, and I just said no, I can't do that for you. If you want to spend a month looking through my channel and find it, then go ahead. I couldn't tell you. It doesn't even make sense. What do you think about Scandi grinds and sharpening it? I think Scandi grinds are great for wood and outdoor stuff, camping stuff. In the last night's live with Mike Emler, I asked him, what folding knife would you like to have if you had to go off grid? And he picked, I think, the Spartan. And I said the Finwolf, the Cold Steel Finwolf, because it's got a Scandi grind and it's a triad lock, very tough, and it's only off-8. So being off grid, you want to be able to sharpen your knife, and yes, I'd love to have 3V off grid, but you know how hard it would be to sharpen your knife without actual stones off grid? I could sharpen OS8 with a rock. So, but sharpening it, yeah, it would be a little more difficult with a Scandi grind. I would most likely, probably, when I needed to sharpen it, if I couldn't make something to strop really good with off grid, and this is specifically off grid. I'm going to talk about actually sharpening it here in a second. Then I'd probably just micro bevel it. Now, in reality, being at home with my stones, sharpening a Scandi grind, yeah, the Scandi grinds are fine. You just treat that grind like the edge. So there's a couple ways to do it. You can do it with sandpaper, right? And you can do backstrokes. Or you can take your stone and you just lay that whole angle of the bevel of, the grind on the stone and act like it's the edge. It takes a little while, but yeah, it's not bad. It's just, it just takes a while. It's kind of like with a lot of things, like when we talk about different steels, like say, if you say 3V is harder to sharpen than 14C28N. Well, no, it's not harder to sharpen. It just takes more time. That's it. Takes more time. If you want to speak about harder to sharpen, then I don't think steels has anything to do with it. That's just more time. They're all as easy, the same. Like it's just as easy to sharpen 3V as 14C28N as OS8 as Maximet. It's just time difference. And if you use the right stones, it's not that much more time. If it's thin behind the edge, I can sharpen a Maximet that's thin behind the edge faster than an OS8 knife that's thick behind the edge. The thickness is where the time comes in, is how thick the edge is. But heat treat, though, is going to be a big factor in it. Good night, Mom. Love you. I love how great the show to everyone. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for coming in. Somebody said something about a convex. Now, convex grinds are great, but hard to maintain in the field. If it's like a full convex, like this, where it's a full convex all the way to the edge, then yeah, that's you'd want to be able to strop it as much as you can, but you would just have to micro bevel it most likely. If you have stones, yeah, you could figure it out, right? But even then, if you have stones, micro bevel it. If you have sandpaper, you can do backstrokes. There's ways to do it, but to do it as clean as that, it's going to be very difficult. That's why it's nice to just micro bevel it. But yeah, just getting used to the feeling of the blade on the stone is the most important part. Understanding what's happening, understanding how it feels. That is so important. That's why I say in some of my videos, pay attention to how the feeling is. That's very important. And the first couple months of sharpening, you're not going to tell the difference. It's going to be very difficult for you to tell the difference. It's all just going to mix up in your brain, kind of like a language or something. But after a while, you understand it. You understand the language and what's happening and how, like, this sound means I'm lifting, right? This sound means I'm, something like I'm getting a burr, right? So many different things. I have to pick one up. Reviewers don't always do the knives justice. No, that's true. That's true. And that's something I want to talk to you guys about, because we got a bunch of topics to go over. And so with reviewers, right, with knives that, let's say shitty knives. Let's just say crappy knives, right? Cheap shit knives. Do you think knife reviewers should review cheap shit knives? Do you think that knife reviewers should review cheap shit knives? Knives that are crappy. Like, yeah, damn knife reviewers. Sons of bitches. I'm asking that because in some ways I want to say yes to to show the level of quality. Now, okay, only as a comparison. Okay, because my next question with that was that, well, do you think they should tell the truth? Obviously, they should tell the truth, but my point is that if you're used to reviewing nice knives, it's hard to justify and speak good about a knife, say that's $30, but to you, you wouldn't pay $5 for. Like something that does have issues, something that maybe the heat treat is bad, might possibly not even be using the right steel, or the advertised steel, I should say. The fit and finish is all off. Lockup isn't good or at 100%. Whatever the issues are that you guys already know the issues, what they are, the reviewer would be saying that stuff the whole time. Now, there are people behind. Yeah, see, please. So now I can understand doing it sometimes, right? Doing it sometimes just to show you, like, listen, this is the difference between, your $40 good quality budget knife versus this $40 cheap gas station knife, which is probably not $40, $10, $20. And then we have to remember they're 10, $20. Sometimes they're more though. Like I've seen some cheap knives that are $26, $27, and I think I wouldn't pay $3 for that at all. Like I wouldn't take it as a gift, unless if it's just to bash it for the channel. But I kind of enjoy reviewing them sometimes just to talk shit. Now I always do got to remember, not always. A lot of times there's a person behind that knife. There's somebody who made that knife and put their blood, sweat, and tears and their soul into that knife. And in that case, I do feel bad. And mostly I think I'm talking about right now like knives that could be good, but there's issues. You feel bad because you don't want to bash the knife, especially when you know how proud they are over it. However, I think it could only benefit and help them if you do it in a right way, if you do it in a good way. I think knife reviewers should review crappy, expensive knives. It would save the fan base a whole lot of headaches and frustration. Crappy, cheap knives are assumed to be crappy because of price point. Yeah, and I'm talking about literal crappy knives. I'm talking about knives that we know are crappy, like you guys know the brands, all the M-Techs and things like that. Like that's basically what I'm talking about. Because in that case, like you're gonna bash it, it. But with hold on, what was it say? Someone needs to show my coworker why his $3 Smith & Wesson doesn't lock up. It's crap. Right. It's maybe for some cheap knives that are above shit category for the rest for the rest of us as you do is pretty good. See, I think like if it's the price point justifies the quality, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where the price point doesn't even justify the shittiness. But you have to call it out. You have to be honest about it. Or at least I think you should be. But there are, say, people that don't like to review knives they don't like. I personally think it's a good thing. Regardless of your feelings about it, as a knife reviewer, I think that's important. I think it's important to review knives you don't like. Because now, I think you should try not to be biased. Like where, like, say, if you don't like it, don't review it because you hate it. I'm saying knives, say, that aren't that great, and you need to show why it's not that great. Why you know what I mean? Like say if I get a knife, right? I get a knife and there's issues with it. Well, I shouldn't hide it from you guys. I should review it so that you guys know this is the possibilities if you get this. Now, speaking about that, the Miguran knives, okay? And I hate to talk about it this early, right? Because I think they make great knives. I do. I think they have the abilities to make good knives. I've got one right there that's really good. I got my Pagos that I had a lot of complaints on. A lot of complaints. After playing with that other knife that the Cue Ball owns, that one's really good. That's a great knife. I mean, fit and finish, everything is perfect on it. And he bought that. They sent me that one. And that one I had a lot of complaints on, but it was still in the range of being a good knife. But a lot of other people had some other serious issues. And trying to get a hold of them for return has been not good. And I don't want to recommend a company. I don't mind reviewing the other knife, right? But the thing is that you don't want, as a knife company, for me to review it and in the video me say, listen, you might possibly have issues. If you have a knife with issues, they might not deal with it, and you might not be able to get your money back. So in that case, are you going to risk your money? Probably not, right? Probably not. Like if I told you, hey, this example is good. If you get a shit example, you're not going to get your money back. I'm just telling you right now. Like if I said that to you, you probably wouldn't deal with that company. So for the company, it's important for them to make sure that doesn't happen. Make sure that doesn't happen, because otherwise people aren't going to want to buy their knives. So I don't want to say that about that company. I don't want to. You guys heard me. I tried to speak as good as I could about the company. I even advertised for them and everything. But then everybody went out and bought their knife, right? Or bought some of their knives. And then some people had issues and they're having trouble dealing with them. That's not cool. That's not cool. I was under the impression that he would deal with it, that he would take care of it if there was some issues. But we'll see, because like I said, the verdict is still out. I haven't gotten the feedback, the 100% feedback yet, but within a week, if I don't hear that this person, you guys already know who it is, doesn't get contacted back and refunded his money, then I'm definitely going to say it. Because then it's on them, not on me, right? I'm just saying what they did. So, and I know they won't never send me another knife, but that's not what it's about. And I've said this to you guys, that's the one problem of being a knife reviewer and being honest, is that when you are honest, you're gonna blow up a lot of bridges, right? And as a knife reviewer, it's nice having those bridges. And I'm just being honest. Like I don't want to be fake to you guys and pretend like that I don't want knife companies sending me knives. Of course I do. Of course I do. A fucking knife reviewer. Of course I want all the companies sending me knives. That's not going to stop me from doing an honest review. But there is a double-edged sword. You're honest with the reviews or honest about the company or whatever, then you burn that bridge. Right? But I can always still buy one if I want one that bad. So, it's all right. Lefty. Is War Spear using real? I can't confirm that. I don't know. I cannot confirm, because the thing is that 14C28N is easy to sharpen already. Did I sharpen it? I don't remember. I honestly, if check my review and you hear, I sharpen a lot, guys. I sharpen a lot of knives. I don't remember what I said in the review about the steel. I don't remember if I sharpened it or not, if it felt okay or not. I wouldn't doubt that they're not using real 14C28N. I don't doubt that. They can get 14C28N for very affordable. I heard the problem with 14C28N, getting it, is that you have to buy it in bulk. So if you're not willing to buy, say, I don't know how many pieces, let's say 1,000 blanks at a time, then it's difficult to get. That's just what I heard. I don't know how true that is. That's just what I heard. Hey, Jared, if you made your own knife, what blade, shape, materials, etc. would you use? And if through a company, what company? I can't speak on which company it would be. I can tell you which companies I'd want it to be. But I have like probably 5 companies I would love to have it be made by. Um, but I would definitely want it to be titanium, micarta. Um, if I could, I would use 14C28N or possibly something even better. The thing is that you have to use the steels that are best available for that company and what you can get for a certain price. So, like, say 20 CV, right? They might have a lot of it, or have a lot of it in stock, or have um, a good flow of it where they get it for a good price. So in that case, you're going to be able to bring it to the market. Now, the steels I'd want to bring it in, like say if I wanted to say Crewwear or K390, I wouldn't be able to because the company wouldn't be able to get it to me for a price that would be available to you guys to sell. Right? It would wind up being too expensive. Companies like Spyderco that get it, it's different. Right? But I don't know. But yeah, I'd like if it was a liner lock, I'd want my Carta, or a titanium liner lock, or a titanium frame lock. I like both. Um, but a drop point blade most likely. I would love to design a lot of different knives. To be honest, I'd love to design all different kinds of blade shapes and steels and everything. But probably my first, if I did one right now, just one, it'd be a drop point or a spear point. Not a long spear point, but like kind of like this. This is a drop point, I know, but like where the tip doesn't go wink, where it like kind of just goes drop pointish. I really like that. Or like this, this kind of drop point. I really like this kind of drop point. M390 seems to be getting very inexpensive very quickly. Yes. Yes. The longer a steel's out, the more companies are making it, the more, it's available, the more, the faster the price goes down. That's the way it's always going to be. If you're looking for a decent integral, I mean, there's a bunch of integrals. I mean, that We has a great integral. The Synergy 3, I think it's the 3. The Synergy, whatever. The Synergy, they say it's what kind of blade shape is that goes up? Not, oh man, I can't think of the name of it. It's basically like a drop point blade because the way the shape of the handle goes. Man, I can't think of the name of that blade shape. But it's basically, hey Brian, thank you, man. I had a super chat since I came in. Congrats on the 10K. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the donation too. But I really like the way that Synergy looks, even though it is a trailing point. Damn it. It's a trailing point. It's kind of like a Persian, but it's not though. And they call it a trailing point. But if you see the way the handle goes with it, it will perform just like a drop point. The tip doesn't go like the tip doesn't go wink like that. It's set up where when you go like this, the tip's going to be facing at what you're cutting like a drop point. So that looks like an amazing, and I almost bought it. I literally almost bought it. I would have had to have spent an extra $100 on the money I had at Knife Works, which I just don't have. I mean, I couldn't really, make that choice at the time or right now. So I wound up getting the other knife. It was $100 less, but it's really nice. Now, there's a bunch of integrals out there, though, that are really nice. I wanted to answer your second question, but yeah, like a Persian, but it's a trailing point. And I appreciate you guys naming it. Couldn't think of it. My only example, or My only experience with M390 has been Tucson's. But I'll tell you what, my 129 has been my work knife for 3 months, and I'm only now considering touching it up. Yeah, I mean, this one right here, I've got a couple chips right here, but they're well earned. Like, I haven't sharpened this in months. Don't get me wrong, I have a lot of knives. I carried it yesterday. I carried it yesterday. Great knife, man. I love this knife. And yeah, I don't mind their M390. I say that all the time. Like, I know it's not going to, and this thing, when you know it and you're okay with it, then I'm good with it, because I know it's not going to get, say, the edge retention of an M390 that's heat treated perfectly, but it's still going to be better than like S30V, S35VN edge retention. So I'm happy with it. And it works out really good. It sharpens really good. It sharpens really easy. It deburrs really good. I've never had an issue with their S. I just did that S90V the other day. That shit sharpened up really nice. I can't say how long it's going to hold the edge. Probably not as long as some companies' S90V, but it's going to hold a good edge for a long time, especially for the price. It's not like you're paying $300 for that knife. Yeah, it's a Persian or a trailing point. You can call it either one. They say trailing point, which it's the same thing. I've actually been pretty impressed with the performance of the AUS 10 on the 80-20.5. You know, I heard somebody else was saying that too. They were getting pretty good results from it. I've carried it a few times. I did sharpen it though, and it did take, a decent edge. My one issue with it, and I maybe I haven't sharpened it enough, because I sharpened it once. It's kind of weird, because I didn't feel like at the time, I hate saying that word, feel like. I didn't think at the time that it took as sharp of an edge as I wanted it to, but then I came back to it, and it seemed like it's sharp enough. But I remember at the time when I sharpened it, I thought that it wasn't getting the level of sharpness I wanted it to get. That doesn't say that much, because I maybe I needed to remove just a little bit more steel. That happens, right? That's just a fact of life. When you get a production knife, especially when they're, because those were made quick. We have to remember that. Those were made fast. So we can expect some of the edges to be burnt. You can expect that on every single knife you get. You're going to have some with burnt edges. Whatever. It's the belts, right? Eventually, they're going to have a belt that is going bad. And they're going to use it till it's bad, because they can't replace their belt every knife. You know how expensive these knives would be if their belts were replaced every knife? No, they have to get the most out of their belts. They have to. And I don't blame them for that. They're getting the most out of their belts. So, especially for a budget knife, or a knife that's not like really, really expensive. So, you can expect that when their belt starts wearing out, they're going to get the most out of their belt. Some of the edges are going to be burnt. And then the speed of the belt, how fast they're going trying to get it sharpened so they can get it to Blade Show, or so that they can get to 2,500 copies so that they can sell them or whatever, send them to Blade HQ or whatever. So it is what it is. And yeah, I think maybe I just needed to remove a little bit more steel possibly. And I've never had an issue with AUS 10. I've never had an issue with AUS 10. I think AUS 10, I don't like it for that price. I'll be honest, I don't like it for that price. But I understand that it's a $60 knife and a $90 lock. And I get that, which I'm fine with. I obviously bought it. And I like the knife. I don't like the price, but I paid it. So how long can I bitch about paying for something that I had no problem paying and I wanted it? So it's a solid knife. It's a good knife. I don't like the FRN. I'd rather have different handle material, and I almost got some from Carbodize. I almost got some of that fat carbon from Carbodize, and I still might. But it's just hard to justify putting another I think it's $110 for their fat carbon on that knife. That would make that a $265 knife or some shit. But I don't know. Maybe it is worth it. I don't know. I think their micarta is $75. I might get that. The belt should be run through water, in my opinion. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they keep dipping the blade. Like they'll dip it and they'll sharpen it. That does happen. But you got to think, like, when some of the guys, like, say if they're told, like, hey guys, we need all these knives sharpened by the end of the day, and there's a lot of them, and they're trying to head out the next day to Blade Show, or they promised a shipment to Knife Center and Blade HQ or something, right? There's going to be times where they rush it, and there's going to be times where they're trying to get the most out of their belts because they only have so many belts, and this is the belts they need for these knives because they're putting that price into that budget. It's like when they decide that the price of this knife is going to be $50. Well, the price of the belts is in that cost. So they're going to try to get the most out of those belts. And if they go over that, right, then they're losing money. And they don't want to lose money. But yeah, there's always going to be, ding, is there I didn't see one. Huh. But anyways, yeah, I agree they should be wet grinding. You know, they should make sure it's nice and cool. There's a lot of things. I don't see anything. Everybody's saying belt. Oh, there it is. It didn't show up on my other screen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm in the live stream going to be really busy this month, and I'll be listening. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you listening. I know a lot of people like to just sit back and listen, and that's awesome. I do the same thing in a lot of people's live streams. My thing over here is going to die. Let me know if, let me just turn it on over here because this thing's about to die. Let me throw this out. I got the old pad. I'm going to set up the phone. Since we're talking budget blades, can we talk about blatantly overpriced companies? I know a lot of guys are fans of Benchmade and Spyderco, but am I wrong for saying they don't offer a lot of value? Yeah, I think you're wrong by saying that in some sense, and I think there are going to be some knives, yes. I think, like, say the Bug Out, right? Is the Bug Out worth $130? It's USA made. So that's automatically a cost. They're using USA parts and all of that. I think it is a little overpriced. Okay, I do think it's a little overpriced. I don't think it's outrageous, but I do think it is a little overpriced. Now, yes, they have their name. Now, what's one thing that makes their price so expensive? And everybody knows it. If I asked right now, what company has the best warranties? What company has the best warranty out there? 90% of people would say Benchmade. Benchmade. So that warranty comes at a cost. If you break your blade, they'll replace it. You might have to pay a little extra money to replace your blade, but it's like $20, $40 for S90V. And you don't even have to break it. I replaced my 940 blade. I didn't break shit. I just sharpened it too much. And technically, it could have went going. Now, does that justify that much? Sometimes. I mean, maybe. But like Spyderco, their costs are, like we were saying, the belts and the steels they're using. If they're giving you K390, do you know how hard it is for them to grind K390? They go through some fucking belts. And depending on how much they get, depends on the price of the materials. But I think sometimes, yes, you do pay a premium for the name, for the butterfly tax, right? Now, and I think like their gold series, fuck yeah, they're overcharging for that, because that's for people that are collectors that are going to get it no matter what. So yeah, there are going to be some knives that are overpriced, and I think that some of their knives, maybe just because they did a different color scale, that's too much. So yes, I do think sometimes they are overpriced. Yes. I don't think all their knives are. I do think there are, because you got to look, there are some that are very reasonable. Like look at some of their lightweights in S110V, and or I'm talking about their Manixes, by the way. So sometimes they do have some pretty good deals, or pretty good knives, but yeah. ProTech also has a bitchin' warranty program, right? And guess what? You pay for it. You pay for it. You pay that premium price for that warranty. Adamantium steel. Okay. Knife Sergeant, big time, so overpriced. I think majority of people would say that there is a butterfly tax, that there is a spider tax. They've been around for a long time. Spyderco's warranty, not so much. I don't know about their warranty. I'm not even. A lot of people would say they have a shit warranty. I don't know. But Benchmades, I can stand by that. They got an amazing warranty. I've never felt like any of my Spydercos cost more than it's worth, but I haven't went over 200. Yeah, and I've never felt like I got overcharged for Spydercos, but same thing. Like I've gotten some gift Spydercos that are expensive, and some people would argue they're not worth it. I would argue some of them are, because like I love my Slish Bowie. Love that knife. That knife is so awesome. I love that knife. But I have the original one. Now, a lot of people bitched about that new one in the price, but they paid it, didn't they? They paid it because it's a damn good knife. But I'm thinking more of like the $150, $200 knives, because when you talk about some of their, like the Drunken and the Anthem and things like that, yeah, I mean, it can get up there, right? It can get up there. But the reason why it's costing so much is they're paying the designer, right? They're paying for other things that bring the price up, and they know that is a knife that they can do that with. It's a unique knife. They think that they can do that with, and a lot of people buy them, and they're collector pieces, and that's kind of what they're made for. They're made for that, so that they can do that. People make $15 an hour at McDonald's now, and steel prices are rising, and costs associated with shutdowns for COVID here. Yeah, prices are 100% going up for everything. There's nothing there ain't nothing that's going down. Maybe in bulk. Hell, even wood is crazy. Right. That is a knife. Like the Spidey Chef, the Slish Bowie, those are knives that'll last a very long time. I really like that Slish Bowie. I won't lie, man. I love that thing. Some people try to say that, oh, it's not worth it or whatever. You say whatever you want, man. I love it. I think that thing's a great knife. I know people say that Nick Shabazz is the reason why that thing is so popular. Maybe a little bit, but it's also because it's such a good knife. It is a badass knife. I love it. Love the Spidey Chef. I don't care for the price. I think everybody's gonna bitch about the prices of certain knives, right? They don't want to pay it, but they love the knife, And yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Sometimes you are paying for that level of quality, though, where they all are good. You're not paying for 1 out of 5 are bad. If you have problems, the warranty takes care of it, and they actually take care of it. They don't fuck around. So you do have to pay a little premium for that, for sure. The Anthem is the best Benchmade in my opinion, and Integral the best possible version of the Axis lock. Agree. I agree. I think that I wish they would use that on other knives, just like Spyderco with their ball lock. I know they use the ball lock on other things, but I mean specifically just like this with the cage and everything. I don't know why they don't. Benchmade, why don't you use that lock? That should have been like the next thing they did that was popular. Like, screw Omega springs. Let's just do, baby, you're good. You're going to get me kicked off. Stop. You're going to get me copyrighted. She's fucking over there playing music. Yes, and it's on bearing, super smooth, stupid smooth. That's a damn good knife, and like he said, it's an integral too. It's an integral with an axis lock, and I'm not saying they have to do all integrals with that lock. I'm saying use that lock on other knives that are not integrals, because that way you can give us that lock without the price of an integral. Ball lock is cool. I added OCD for EDC kit, a little light but much more fidgetable. I liked I got the Flytanium scales, and then this one's just stock. I love it. I love it stock. I loved the lightweight. I love the titanium one with the titanium cage. I just like them all. I like the Mannix. The Mannix is a good knife. Oh, you're talking to Lacey. Nick Martino says, I can make my Yojimbos last me a lifetime with proper maintenance and care. They'll last forever. A lot of most of Spiracles will last forever. Yes, yes. If you maintain it and take care of it. Now, I'm not going to say forever. If you only have one knife, it's not going to last probably, and depending on the steel too, and depending on what you do. For me, it wouldn't last forever. But for some people that take out their knife once a day and make a cut, yeah, it'll probably last the majority. You might have to get a new knife after 20 years. Some frame locks, depending on the knife, yes and no, because some of them will over travel. Like I have the Kershaw bare knuckle. That thing's at 100% lockup, and it's because I worked with it. Since I worked with it, no, that thing's not going to last a lifetime. And that was while I was using a lot of other knives too. So it just depends on how hard you are on your knife or how much you do with your knife. Exactly. Who has one? That's why they will last a lifetime. They will absolutely last a lifetime as long as you have more than one. If you have 5 knives, you can make 5 knives last you the majority of your life. Let me rephrase that. Good quality knives. I'm talking about like Sabenzas and shit. I can't imagine trying to change the springs on an integral. It doesn't sound fun. See, actually, integrals are easy. Oh, you mean that? Yeah, I see what you mean. I never did that one, but I imagine it's easy. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there's not a bunch of pieces. I haven't done the Anthem, but all my integrals, like I can take my integral apart. It has a little window. I know that one doesn't, but it's just one piece. You unscrew the thing, pull it out, everything pops out. When you put it back in, you just sandwich everything together and put it in, and then put it in the pivot and screw it in. It winds up being really easy. That spring, I'm not sure about. I never did it. It might be difficult. I don't know. But since you don't have all the other parts, it's just 2 pieces basically, and then the bearings, or in that case, bearings. They also have an amazing warranty, as long as you don't mod it. As long as you don't mod it or mess up taking it apart. I've heard that they've taken care of people that have messed up taking it apart, but and I heard him from his mouth say that if you take your knife apart and clean it, I don't care, as long as everybody knows, like if you know how to take apart a knife, put it back together, then you'll be fine. If you take apart and put it back together all messed up and then come to us with a messed up knife because you don't know how to put your knife back together, he's like, then I'm not covering it. That's what he said. But, he said, as long as you put it back together, just fine. I'll cover your warranty. I forget exactly what he said word for word, but that's basically what he said. He said, just don't modify it. My bare knuckle and my knockout both still have a strong, great detent. Perfectly fine. My knockout, though, is 100% locked up. When I open it, my lock bar is all the way to the wall. But that's from squeezing and pushing it through things. When you squeeze your knife and it's a frame lock, or in that case, a subframe lock, you age it. You age it using it. Oh, frame lock here. Okay. So let's say this knife right here. It's a frame lock. So when I squeeze it, I'm pushing this thing over and over and over. So since you do that, that over time, because now you're pushing the blade back, right? Think about this. You're pushing the blade back through things, the lock bar over at the same time. That's literally aging the knife. Spine goes backwards towards the stop pin, and then lock bar increases. So over time, it's just going to push that lock bar all the way over. But, you take care of your knives and you have a few of them, that's okay. But if it's your only knife, then yeah. It's all about honesty with Greg. If you tell him what happened, he will take care of you. If you make up some story, he tells you to get fucked. Yeah, I agree. I think Greg will be fine, right? As long as you're just honest with him. I agree. I think he does look at honesty. The one problem I have, and it's not even my problem, I heard somebody else say it, that he accused them of attempting to take apart his knife. And they didn't. They swore, and I can't say whether or not they did. He said it. He said that he's seen marks around the pivot, and he said he bought it like that it came literally like that. He didn't care, and he just continued using it. Well, he sent it in because something happened. I forget what happened. And Greg called him, or he talked to Greg or whoever, and they were accusing him of attempting to take the knife apart, and that he put it back together messed up. And he said, I never took the knife apart. He's like, I never put a tool on the knife, not once. He said, I never tried to take it apart. And he said he was accusing him, saying that yes, he did, and that he was lying to him and all this shit. And he said, he said, I never take my knives apart. Like that was just his story. I don't know. So that kind of bugged me, like that you're going to accuse a guy of taking it apart that's swearing up and down he didn't touch it. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I believed the guy, to be honest. I did believe the guy. He made a video about it and everything. But I will say this, though. Greg still took care of it. It's not like he didn't take care of it because of that. He 100% still took care of it. So good for him. First full week, they got $900 laptops. He got a $700. Okay, that's not to me. 9:17. Damn, we're past story time. I'm sorry, guys. I fucked up. Medford, Greg Medford. But yes, he did take care of it still, though. We're talking about Medford. I always carry a cheaper knife to use in case I sit down and walk away. I always carry two knives too. Usually 95% of the time I carry two knives. Sometimes, like around the house, I carry one knife because I always have a knife somewhere. But when I leave, I usually have two, unless if I'm like going out somewhere with shorts or something. But if I'm wearing jeans and my belt, I got two knives on me. All right, story time. But this is to you guys. And I do have a story for you guys. But I want to ask you guys a question. And you guys know who this is pertaining to and everything else. I wasn't going to talk about this. The reason why I wasn't going to, because I know people are getting sick of hearing about this topic. I think some people, like getting into the stuff. But do you think that when a reviewer or a person of the community fucks up, that if they do everything possible to make it right, can they redeem themselves? Can a person, channel, or whatever in the community that fucks up and does everything possible to make it right and actually does it, and I'm saying they did, and I'm just being hypothetical. Let's say they did everything humanly possible to fix it, and they fixed it. They made right with everybody, whatever. Is it redeemable? Brandon G says yes. Okay. Everyone deserves a second chance. I agree. After one screw up, sure, if it was a habit, they're done. Second chances do exist. I believe we are no angels. I agree. I say you just have to watch them closely going forward. I like that. When they deliberately did wrong to good people on purpose, fuck no, you got caught. He would have kept going. If not, no. Okay, I want to speak to that. We've all of us, nobody is exempt for this. We've all done something that we would have never said anything about if not for getting caught. All of us, every single person. I don't give a fuck who says they haven't done that. Every single person has done something that they never would have admitted if not being caught. And I'm not saying that on this type of scale or anything. I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm not. I'm really not. Trust me. I'm just saying, like, I'm a clear example of that too. And this guy can't. Oh, now you are talking about Slicey too. They're talking about it over on the Edge right now. I'm not watching the Edge, so I don't know that. I just know I wanted to ask you guys if you guys think that it is, if he does everything, if it's redeemable, if he can redeem himself in your eyes, if he does everything right, if he deals with everybody accordingly and handles it, does he have a second chance? I haven't. That's not true. I have. Yeah, everybody has. That was a good one. If someone who will forgive but never forget and does leave something in the back of mind always, and that's fine. You can always have something in the back of your mind. Do you know what I mean? And like, nobody has to deal with somebody they don't want to. Remember, everybody who deals with somebody does it on their own, if they want to. Not like anybody's forced into it. Okay, so with me, right? I don't like what happened. I don't like what happened, but I'm a pure example of somebody who fucked up. Like, I used to be a very dangerous human being, and to me and the people around me, and a lot of things. And if not for second chances, I wouldn't be here. I would not be here. So I like the thought of somebody getting a second chance. Now, I also don't like somebody, hurting the community, right? And that goes for anybody. I'm not saying anybody in particular there, anybody. But if you can't get a second, let's just put it this way: if you can't get a second chance, if you just can't, it's impossible. Why fix it, right? Like, for anybody, if somebody robs a bank, right? Fucking execute them, right? Why let them go to prison? Like, why? How can you justify anything to anybody if somebody can't get a second chance? If you just say, this is how it is, this is who they are, it's not redeemable. And I do think there's a level of which, like, that sometimes it takes time, and with something that just happened, you can't say like that it fixes itself that easily, but sometimes you can, because sometimes it does take that level. Sometimes you do get in some shit, and I'm not talking about slicing here. I'm just talking about humans. Sometimes you get into a pile of shit, and shit piles up fast, really fast. I'm talking about myself. Shit piles up fast, and you don't even realize how much shit you're getting yourself into, and next thing you know, it's deeper than you thought, and you've gotta fix it and make it right. And so I don't know. I do like the idea of a second chance, but I also think with that second chance comes great responsibility. Like, with my second chance, I can tell you guys, man, I don't fuck around. Like, I take everything seriously, and I take, like, I went up and beyond. Like, okay, put it this way: when I went to court, like, for probation, in order for me to get off probation, because I had no, and I mean literally no slack, I had probation officers at my door every week. Aside from the fact that I had to go to court every week randomly. So not court randomly, the probation officer randomly. So Think about that. Twice a week, I'd have to check in, drops, drug tests, and it wasn't even about drugs. I never got busted for drugs. So that was just a way for them to be in my personal space to make sure I'm doing right, right? And it's literally not to make sure I'm doing right. It's to catch me so they can put me in the system. It's not, they don't care if you do right. I promise you that. They do not care if you do right. It's money to them. So they're trying to get you to mess up. Anyways, I digress. I finally used that word. But my point is that I literally did so good that they had to pay me back money when I was done because I had did like community service so fast. I did everything to a T. I literally did the impossible. What majority of people won't even try to do because it's impossible. And that's how much I bent over backwards to do right. And I do think though, if you do that level of, shit, then you deserve a second chance. But not everybody's willing to do that. I take the chance to advertise for you each time I see that topic in forums and groups. Thank you. I don't know if you're talking about me or not, but man, thank you for the donation, man. Karma is a motherfucker and will come around. Although a public attack on someone who has a weaker character, I'd be careful. Nothing extreme happens. Yeah, I don't want nothing extreme to happen. That I think, yeah, karma is a bitch, and I do agree. People do have to pay their karma debt to life. I agree, and I definitely have to pay mine. I always do. But yeah, I don't wish any harm on anybody or anything like that. What I do is I wish and hope that people, even if at the time they don't acknowledge, that they acknowledge and just pay it forward. Just do what you can to make it right, and then in that case, I think sometimes it does take getting called out to even acknowledge how bad something was. There's a reason why they have those interventions and things like that. Which I don't agree with, by the way. I don't agree with them. I'm just saying there's a reasons why, like things like that, so you can actually stand next to the people and they can address you and tell you what it's doing or what's going on. Because sometimes you're oblivious to, what you're doing to people. Well, Jared, actions speak louder than words, right? We'll see what happens. Yeah, I agree. And that's why I'm asking, and like just my whole question here, right? I'm not trying to stick up for anybody or anything. My question is, if done right, because I think some people are willing to burn at the cross, without a chance, which may be justifiable. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying if somebody does the thing right and does everything to the T, pays it forward, addresses everybody openly, and does it right, do they deserve a second chance? Is it redeemable? You was on, yes, I was. I was on intense probation a couple times. Slicey's second, third, fourth, etc. chance can be at another community's expense. Maybe. And, I don't know if that's even going to be redeemable. That's why I'm asking you guys, because it's not on me. All right. It's technically on you guys. And it does take a community to run a channel. I think a lot of people are willing to. I think some people aren't, regardless of what I, say or think. And it's the chips are going to fall how it falls. I think the best case scenario is for him to address and do everything possible, which I'm sure he is, or I hope he is. And at the very least, those people, can know that he addressed it. I seen Knife Journey, what he said, which he dealt with. That's awesome. Um, and people might look at it like second, third, fourth chance or whatever because of all the things that happened. But you got to consider this. I think this should be the first. But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Jared, you did change on your second chance or third or fourth. Most of us took multiple chances. Oh, well, I don't know how you would consider it, because if you're considering like jail and like getting in trouble and shit like that, fuck, man, I couldn't tell you how many chances. Right? I've been, I went to jail a lot. Lots of times, not like long stints or anything, but just separate times, right? Like, so if you look at like that, like, depends on how you look at it. Um, because there's different things, like, so it just depends on how you look at it. But I look at it like, because I only ever really honestly, like, say with drug addiction, right? I only did it once. Like, I had been like sober a couple times, like in the beginning, but it was never like on a time like where I was like, I'm done, and I actually tried. When I tried and did, I did. I 100% did, never went back. The day I stopped was the day I never went back. Never. So in that case, yeah, it took one time. But that was after a few years of torture and just fucking up left and right and just destroying everything around me. I destroyed everything in my life. So at that point, there was nothing but up. There was nothing but up. But yeah, so in that case, yeah, it was the first time I stopped and I fixed everything. But I did everything possible to fix it and then some. And I made sure, like, I addressed people, like I did everything possible. But with other things, though, no, man, I fucked up for a long time. But because it was separate, right? They're separate things. Getting in trouble and shit is separate from like drug addiction, and sometimes it's two in the same. But it just depends on how you look at it. Jared, been meaning to ask, what was it that made you decide to fix your life? I have someone who's going through drug addiction now who just keeps sinking and wants to know how to help them. It's difficult for anybody to help somebody else. You want to always be there to give them a chance. If you don't ever want to give up on somebody, there is a point to which you can't do anything. All right, they do have to make that choice. My ultimate thing was life. Eventually, you get down to such a deep hole that you have no more room to go down, and you get put into a position that it's like, is this going to be forever? Right? Like, because I was going to wind up getting a prison sentence and getting, so it's like, at that point, what do you do? Right. So if I would have gotten a prison sentence, I didn't want that. I didn't want to go to prison because, jail and prison is two different things. So that was my choice. Like, which one are you going to do? And it was really looking like prison because I was going to jail. Like, I went to jail multiple times in like a few weeks, let alone over years. So, in and out, in and out, in and out. And then when you're already on probation and charged with something, if you get locked up again, and if you have a felony charge, it's like the 3-strike rule. You're fucked. Like, you're not getting out of it. There's nothing you can do. You're not fighting a case or nothing. You're going straight to prison. So that's like the wall I was at. Was like, I have the choice right now. It's either prison or fix my shit. And that's when I fixed it. So that was one thing, right? That was one thing. But besides that, it was me looking at my future. Like, I don't want to do this forever. Like, I want to be a stand-up citizen. I want to help the people around me. I've always been a family person. I've always been a good person to people. I've always helped people around me. I've always been generous. I've always been the guy you could call anytime to help with anything. If you're on the side of the road, or if you need to go fight somebody, right? I've always been the guy you can call and rely on. And I hated that I had became somebody unreliable. So that was one thing that ate at me. I hated hurting my family. So like I just looked at it like I don't want that. I want to, and just a life too. You want to build, you want children, you want a wife, you want things, and you want to be able to build and grow, but you can't do that and that at the same time. And being involved in crime, it's just a matter of time. Even with the people that do get away with it, the lifestyle that they live every day, it's toxic. Like I don't remember ever not living that type of lifestyle ever since I was a kid. So not, like being involved in just everything around you, it's hard. I mean, it's easy to not like, go to prison or something and get caught for shit sometimes because, you can be smart about things. But I don't know. Sometimes it's inevitable, right? Sometimes it's inevitable. Jared, at what point through your journey did you and Carrie get together? I know you guys were partners in crime for a bit. Yeah, we were. Um, towards the end. Towards the end. Whoa! Whoa! Charles Wood. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. Holy cow. Thank you very much, man. That's amazing. Wow, you got me speechless. Mrs. OCD, I can't tell if that's crying or she's laughing at me. I think she's laughing at me. I think she's laughing at me. Well, it doesn't make me feel good, but that's okay. You can laugh at me. Um, but no, we got together when I started getting locked up. We got together. Like it was like right before that. I think we got together when I was a fugitive, basically. So, uh, I was I had a really bad warrant, and I was running from the cops. She did too, and hers was innocent though. Like Kara's was really innocent. It was just for she doesn't even have a felony or nothing. Hers was just misdemeanor. But I'm just saying though, like that's when we got together. She's mostly been a good girl. We definitely got in a lot of trouble towards the end before we turned everything around. And yeah, but that's usually not the typical for most people. Most people will take each other down rather than build each other up. We both knew what we wanted and wound up turning it around, thank God. But yeah, we were definitely running wild there for a little while. You're gonna get me copyrighted. Turn that shit down. It's okay. But yeah, we definitely had our fun doing some dumb shit. Um, you nice. Thankfully, I did too. Almost 18 years sober and clean. I don't even drink. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I drink sometimes, but I don't drink. Like I drink every few months. I'll have a drink. Yep, I was headed towards an early grave when I got the fuck out. Yeah, me too, for sure. Everybody died around me. I mean, 90% of my friends are all dead. So, um, it's like the good book says, let he who is without fault throw the first stone, but by grace. That's true. That's true. 100%. I spent 15 years addicted to heroin. Shit sucks. And then out of jail so much. Now I blow all my money on knives and watches. I feel you, bro. I feel you. I hear that for sure. They need to realize that there's better things in life with help or within their self. Yeah. Um, uh, Neevesknives asks Mrs. OCD, anybody in your crosshairs lately? Well, you sure as hell hit the jackpot with your wife. Yeah, I definitely did. Hey, Cusins! I don't know what that is. Awesome individual, genuine, passionate. Keep it up. I thank you, man. It looks like a lot, but I don't know what it is. Somebody translate that for me, please. What is that? It's not language, it's money, but I can't tell what kind of money it is. I think that is that a super chat?
Yeah. Oh God, I know that symbol. It's yen.
Is it? I don't know. I'm gonna go down because somebody just gave us $100 donation.
It's
And then now 500 something. I don't know what it is. I want to get excited, but yen. Okay.
Yeah, yen. Okay.
It's 500 stickers.
I don't know how much 500 yen is.
I don't know either.
I don't know
what is? Please, somebody look up. Thank you for the donation, man. Thank you. It looks like a lot, and I'm gonna treat it like it's a lot. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You're not even
yen. It's Japanese. I can't. It's dead now. Yeah.
You didn't think to turn down the brightness a little bit?
I just started using this, but I can't hold this up. Thank you, man. Thank you. Q-cents. Thank you so much, man. That's amazing.
It's like $5.
Probably, but it's still awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, like somebody said it.
91. Stasa! Keep making knives fun, homie. Thank you, man. Thank you. Keep making knives fun. 1 yen.
That would be $500.
That would be $500. That can't be right.
No, I think it's like $5.
It seems logical. Said it's like $400.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look that up. Thank you, man. Holy cow, that's insane.
Who was that? Who was that?
It was Q-cents. Q-cents. Man, that's crazy. Thank you so much, man. And Stasa, thank you too. You guys are awesome. Stasa's home. Yep, Stasa's home. Late as usual. Late as usual. Now this is the time he usually gets in.
It's like $5.
About $5. Okay, $5. Somebody just said that too. About $5 USD. Thank you, cents.
That's crazy that $100.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
$100 would be 11,000 yen. That sounds
wow.
So weird.
Wow, that sounds crazy.
Everyone should start donating in yen
just because it looks big.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey,
Yeah. That's awesome. What's up, Vivi?
Can we go for a walk with your flashlight?
Yeah, we should take a video though. Can you go throw this on the charger for me, please, right now? And I'll close this up in like 10 minutes. Yeah. Give me 10 minutes.
What?
10 minutes. You're reaching Japan now. Yeah, that's awesome. I can see in my analytics that we got a bunch of countries out there: Australia, Japan. Yeah, that's so cool. But yeah, going back to that though, I do like to think that it is, if somebody does the necessary things to redeem themselves, I mean, how can you not? I mean, nobody has to deal with anybody, right? Nobody has to deal with anybody. But I just wanted to ask you guys what you guys thought, your guys' opinion on that. When somebody does the necessary things to redeem themselves, are they redeemable in your eyes? And that's why I was asking you guys personally, because, anybody can say what they think for the community, all right? Like, what was the community going to do? But it's hard to speak for everybody, right? So that's why it's easy just to ask you guys personally from your eyes. And I think there'll always be people that, are just not going to fuck around and mess with anybody. And that's probably going to be them with a lot of people, So there's a lot of people in this community that don't ever mess with anybody. So I don't know. I just I'd like to see everybody get dealt with appropriately and it get fixed. I hate the bullshit. Stolen card.
I mean, if there was no such thing as second chances, I would be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I just said all
I know. I'm just saying, I'd be fucked. So I feel like maybe people that have been through things that are less redeemable in normal society tend to be a little bit more forgiving because shit.
For the community,
I've done worse.
For the community, I would hope for redemption for somebody. I am a flawed man, and as such, there are people and actions I will personally forgive. Yeah, I think just people have to do the appropriate thing to, I think everybody's forgivable. I don't think it's like forgiveness.
Things, that are like cut across the line, like stuff with children.
Yeah.
Animals.
Right. Well,
there's obviously like certain things where I'm like, yeah, there's certain things where you're so fucked up for doing it that you're not. I'm not saying that you're not redeemable as a human, but you're not somebody maybe that I want around. But
but we're talking.
Like fringe.
What you're talking about though is you're talking about next level shit.
I know I said it's fringe.
Right. If you're talking about next level shit, there's obviously things that, and I've dealt with a lot of people that not like that, like what she was talking about, but like with people that like people would think that like they'll never be saved, right? But I think that there's a level of which everybody's forgivable, but is it not forgettable, but redeemable? That's why I'm using the word redeem, because redeemable, you're able to get yourself back into a situation that where you can make it right and you're not looked at in a bad light because you're doing the appropriate things and making sure, like I was talking about before, I have to go up and beyond to make sure people don't look at me a certain way. Or like I was talking about the courts and probation, the things I had to do to make sure that they didn't look at me bad or catch me with something, I had to go up and beyond to make sure of it and jump through so many hoops. But in that case, it wound up being to where they did wind up trusting me. And I had the opportunity to get off early, which I didn't because of money. But still, I can definitely forgive, but it will take a lot. And it's a one strike, then you're out. I am far from perfect, and my past still hangs me. Right.
Well,
mine does too.
Definitely like the fool me once, shame on
you.
Shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So I definitely, can understand one strike and you're out, because it's like if you get fucked with a second time, or if things happen more than once, then if you let it continue at that point, it's like, well, it's on you, and so you have to protect yourself. So
yes, absolutely.
It's kind of like
but that's why there's that level of which when somebody's going out of their way to ensure things are a certain way, you feel a little bit more comfortable with it. But I agree, there's things that will always hang in my past, always. And like I said before, the karma debt that I have is fucking outrageous. And that's something that I have to deal with forever, right? So, I deal with it accordingly. But, I think there's a level of which we're not talking about that level, right? We're not to that level. So we're at a point to where I believe it's redeemable. Me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. I personally wasn't affected, right? My friends were, which I find very personal. It's very personal to me when my friends get affected by things. So that's why, to me, I would just want it dealt with. See what I'm saying? Like, it's like we're not talking about that level of which, you guys know what I mean. There's levels to shit. And at this level, I think it's redeemable right now. It's what happens next, which is when it says if it's not redeemable, right? Now, if it does, right, take care of it, take care of the shit, take care of everything, be open with everything, blah, 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 blah. And it happens again, now we're talking about something. Now we're talking about another level, right? So I don't know. There she is, Mike Emler says.
Yay!
Exactly. The cost of redemption is high, and it has to be. Yes, it does. It does, and I agree, and I know why it has to be. And I'm saying that like from myself, not even for anybody else. I understand personally why my debt was very high.
Just for gits and shiggles.
Just for gits and shiggles. Thanks, Mike. Thank you. Definitely go check out Mike Emler's channel over at Crazy Sharp.
You know what's so funny?
We did a 4-hour live last night. Holy shit.
Last night, Jared was like, talking to somebody. I was like, who's that? And he's like, Mike. I'm like, who the fuck is it, Mike? And he's like, Mike Emler. I was like, oh, I don't think of him as Mike. I think of him as Mike Emler.
Yeah.
Like,
she goes, what the fuck is a Mike?
I'm like, I don't know that.
What is a Mike?
Mike Emler. I don't fucking know Mike. I know Mike Emler.
Slightly is far from beyond redemption, in my opinion. That said, he harmed the community and may not find redemption here. Maybe not. Maybe not. You know, maybe not from those people. Maybe not because
trust is different than redemption. You can allow somebody to redeem themselves without giving them blind trust. I would never recommend that somebody just blindly trust somebody that's done certain things. Just like a drug addict, you know, just because they're clean doesn't mean you trust them with your car and your wallet all of a sudden. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean you have to hate them. I think there's a big difference. I think what we're talking about is not hating versus not trusting.
Right. And
what did you do?
That was at work. A conveyor belt.
Seems like a knife thing.
No, I was cleaning a conveyor. Everybody said that already. Like I did an Instagram thing as I cut myself, and it's not even that bad. It just looks bad. I was cleaning a conveyor, and there's sharp things on conveyors, and I smacked something when I was cleaning it. Take me drunk. I'm home. Good for you.
Stasa said he saw something similar happen in the community around 7 years ago, and they never made it back. That might be what happens. I'm just saying the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
I'm not. People are gonna do what they want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, a lot of times mob mentality is real.
Yeah,
and people want to get on the bandwagon of negativity.
And sometimes it's justified, sometimes it's not. It just depends.
Well, like
I think sometimes it is justified.
It's totally justified. What I don't think is justified is hate from those that weren't affected. Now, for those that are, I'm not going to speak for those people.
I think there's a level because I think those people have their friends involved and people that mean a lot to them that are involved. Wait a second, let me finish. And they look at the community as that's theirs. That's their community. So they look at it as a whole. Like, this whole bitch is mine. Don't fuck with my shit. So I understand it. It's kind of like your home. It's kind of like your home, right? It's like when you have that sacred place that's your home, when a fucking anything comes in there and affects it, you want to deal with it accordingly. Or you can think of your neighborhood, right? Your neighborhood, right? It might not be your house down the street that's getting fucked with, but you're going to handle it accordingly, just like it was, which I understand that. I do understand that. But then we got to think about when it gets to the point to where the person is doing what they can to fix it.
Most people in this situation, first of all, I just want to preface by saying what I said was hate. I can even understand dislike. What I can't understand is being hateful to somebody. That's a different line that I don't think needs to be crossed personally. I can understand distrust, dislike, all that stuff, but hate is too far in my opinion. But what I was going to say though is that I don't think a lot of people do want to go as far as they need to go for that redemption, and that's why they don't make it back.
Yeah.
Because they have a hard time dealing with, and I'm not speaking about slicing here, I'm just saying in general.
In general, right? I'm trying to speak in general too. I'm not specifically just keep speaking. I'm in broad. I am, but
a lot of times people don't want to do the necessary steps.
No, not yet. I'm gonna watch it though,
because they don't want to have to keep facing the distrust and the dislike. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm trying to regain trust, I might wind up giving up on it because I don't want to have to keep facing, you know, those moments where you distrust me, and it's upsetting.
Right.
Because I like, even if I know I'm doing right, if you know you've done right, and then somebody distrusts you, it's really fucking upsetting.
I spoke on that earlier. I said that I hated, because I was always such a reliable person to everybody around me. I hated the thought that people thought of me as not being the reliable one or the person to call. right? Because like for my whole life, I was the person they called when they needed help, or the person they called when they needed backup, or when they anything, right? Doesn't matter what it was. I was like a one call does it all. No matter what, I'll be there type of friend. So I didn't like not being that. And that thought in the back of my head made me want to do right. It made me want to do that. And I do think there is a level of which, and it's hard to speak for somebody and say, oh, they're not like that, or they won't do that, or, that's not the type of person they are. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for anybody else but myself. But I'm saying you don't know until you know. And, you find out through the redemption. And if it does get redeemed, if it does, then that's, to me, it's like they did what they could to fix it, and everything else. At what point do you say we're good? Right? We're good. Like you've done your part on fixing what was done. Now I don't know. But we do blindly trust. I blindly trusted Jared when I was new. Had that went bad. You know what? I want to say something about this, because this happened to me yesterday. This kind of scares me. Not like in a real fear type of way, but for the community and for the channel and for me personally. I don't want to fear this community and think that I could do something not intentionally and fuck up and have the community come after me and start a firestorm or something off of something that I didn't intend. And yesterday, I accidentally I did a sharpening job for somebody. I accidentally sent them the wrong picture for their receipt. That was the first strike. The second strike was I accidentally told them the wrong number of what they owed me. And they told me, they said, that doesn't make sense, right? And it was only because I was dealing with 5 people at once, and I accidentally sent the wrong message to the wrong person. It was supposed to, whatever. But in my head, I instantly thought, this person's thinking I'm trying to fuck him over. Like that I'm trying to get more money out of him than he owes me. And that wasn't the case at all. I just, accidentally thought that it was 3 instead of 2. And so I gave him the price for 3 instead of 2. And I instantly, my head went right to that part. Like, he thinks I'm trying to fuck him over. And now I felt like now he's going to think that about me. Right? I don't want to think that, because I know before all of this, I wouldn't have thought that. I would have just laughed about it and like, oh, sorry, bud, mistake. Right? And I think he would have thought the same thing too. But when you have people, looking around every corner for somebody fucking them over and thinking that people in the community are like that, which people are like that all over the world. I'm just saying, I don't want to be insecure about thinking that I could make a mistake. And I'm not saying what happened was a mistake. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, me personally, I don't want to feel like that. I want to know that, this community is fun and I have a good time with it. We'll chase a lot of people away by making it not fun. There's a reason why it's all fun and we have a good time. And I know it kind of fucked it up, but I'd like to think that it's redeemable. I'd like to think, right? I'm not saying it is. I don't know, because I don't know if he's going to do.
Trust is part of this community.
It is, and that's why
I would never suggest someone blindly trust somebody that that's had past discretions. That's what I was saying before. Is like, you shouldn't blindly trust somebody that there's been issues with for sure, but. There's no real way around it, and I think that's what makes the community a tighter group of people, is that you're trusting people with thousands of dollars worth of shit half the time, and then they stick to their word, and that feels good, and it makes people, bond. So when that is broken, it definitely hurts people on a deeper level than just trust.
Life is short for hate. Yeah, because the sun keeps coming up tomorrow, regardless of what you think, how you feel. Doesn't matter how you feel. Tomorrow's still going to happen. And that's why, I think with dwelling on things, I think you should remember things. I think you should act accordingly when things come up. But holding on to grudges and hate and things like that, and I'm not talking about slice and dice here, and I'm talking about just period, human beings. Dwelling on the past, hating things, hating people that aren't even thinking about you, or being insecure about yourself, or depression, things like that. The sun's going to keep coming up tomorrow. Life's going to go on. And you don't want to be stuck in the same place as last year, the same pain as last year, right? So, you kind of want to act like tomorrow is the first day of the rest of our lives,
The sun's gonna come up pretty soon.
Has everyone hit the like button? If not, please don't forget to share your appreciation. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here in 1 second. I just want to read a couple more of these things, since this is what I was asking the people. So, what day does Neevesknives go live? Yes, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. You got to remember the Central Time, because it'll be different from Eastern and Pacific. Dude has suffered brain injuries. I don't believe that things were intentional. I don't know. I'm not going to say they were, they weren't. So a lot of people will go and say that they were. Some people would say that he was reminded, contacted, talked to. People talked to him multiple times. People are going to, say that. And I'm not going to go as far as saying like it was just like cold-heartedly intentional. But I think there was neglect. I think there was definitely a lot of neglect. So, and in that case, some people would say neglect is intentional. I just think it depends on how you look at it. Jared, I told you that I'd make a disassembly mat for you in leather, but COVID shitstorm here in Malaysia. I'm making things to sell, and monies get to the relief fund. Thus, the delay. No problem, man. No problem, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, I remember what you said that.
I do too. Thank you. I appreciate you remembering. Maybe I'm just trying to look at the positive side of this, but the fact that this one guy has made such a mess and everyone is focusing on it shows how good the community is overall. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Matt. I appreciate the 3 bones. Thank you, man. Thank you. And I agree. This community is so awesome that like I said the one time, we do have to take a little bit of accountability too, of not saying more, not doing more, in a rightful time. Then it got a little late and it wound up being like this. And it's like, this is an amazing community and it shows, right? So I think we should act like that. And I think it's easy for us to hold each other accountable. So I don't know. I don't see it going off. Like if he did come back, I don't know what would happen. Right? I don't know what would happen, but I feel that he would probably be, on his P's and Q's to the point. I don't know. I want to speak for him or anything like that. Just my thoughts. I would hope. I guess that's the best way to just say it. I would hope. After Zach's video, it would be silly to think it was just a mistake. I gotta see it. And like I said, I'm not gonna say it was a mistake. Like, sorry, I bumped your foot. It was an accident. I think it was neglect. And possibly some, maybe a few intentional things. I don't know. I can't speak for certain things. I know some people do go through levels of issues and problems and do things. I'm definitely, I've definitely done things I'm not proud of, and I didn't. It was a result. It was a result of the things I was doing to myself, and wound up doing bad things. Holy crap, it's Douglas.
Yeah, you never take him out anymore.
I did too.
No, you don't.
I walked him last week.
No, you didn't. You shit all in the shelf. Fucking stinks.
It's a tight community, but I think this subject has run its course. Yeah, I do too. There's material out there for people to form their own opinion. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
It doesn't even matter at
No.
a certain point. Just keep speculating.
Who else should I follow on YouTube? We try to throw links in every single live. So, what are you talking about? You can follow Mike Emler. You can follow Zach's stuff. You can follow everybody. I mean, if you listen to the lives, we definitely try to shout out as many people as possible. But yeah, you just type in some knife stuff. You'll find some knife channels for sure. I'm glad you found this one. And I know you're coming in while I'm talking crazy, but I promise you there's some good content on the channel. And Everyday City Carry, yeah. I don't want to. Sasa 23. There's another one. I don't want to sit here and name people without naming more people because I can go on for 20 minutes naming channels and then I feel bad that I left one out. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for having the conversation and having an open mind. And I do appreciate all the people that are trying to hold people accountable and trying to fight for the community because I do think that that is important. And I do understand and respect that a lot. I think it takes a lot of balls to come out and speak about something and to call stuff out when it's needed. And yeah, I don't know. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace. Now we're gonna go record some flashlight stuff. So we just got a flashlight from a company. So we're gonna go do some flashlight stuff. The job never ends, guys. It never ends. I'm gonna fuck that dog up.